Very good morning to all my dear students. I hope you all are fit and fine and doing well. Let's go with the disclaimer. It is hereby declared that the production of the said content is meant for non-commercial, scholastic, and research purposes only. We admit that some of the content or the images provided in this channel's video may be obtained through the routine Google image searches, and few of them may be under copyright protection. Such usage is completely inadvertent. It is quite possible that we overlook to give full scholarly credit to the copyright owners. We believe that the non-commercial, only for educational use of the material, may allow the video in question fall under fair use of such content. However, we honor the copyright holders' rights and the videos will be deleted from our channel in case of any such claim received by us or reported to us. Class, am I audible to you now? I hope screen is visible and my voice is audible to you. Class, am I audible to you? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Divyesh. Okay, so today we are going to discuss the new point, the new topic, that is sources of finance, irrespective of any size, whether it is micro, small, medium, large, kirana store, or any damn business, whether it belongs to organized sector or unorganized sector. The most important aspect, that is finance. We all need that, whether it's a businessman, whether it's a startup entrepreneur, or whether it's a industrialist. They all, in fact, we all are in a need of finance to survive, to sustain, and to break through. Because finance is the main need, is the most important need of any business. Class, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So, sources of finance, from where? we can get the finance, from where we can get the funds. This is the major issue nowadays that every businessman, every entrepreneur, every industrialist suffers from. And even after the pandemic, or you can say the post-COVID era, it's really tough to get the finance. Guys, for your information only, those who have opted for moratorium, they are not getting new loans. Their loans has not been sanctioned by the bank because bank clearly says that when you are unable to pay your EMI for 3 months or for 6 months during this bad period, then how you are going to pay our new loan that we will finance? That will be practically tough for you to repay the new loan after pandemic or post-COVID. So those who have opted for moratorium, they are not getting the new loans sanctioned. Yes, this is the hard reality. In spite of having 20 lakh crores budget, or you can say the special announcement for industries with respect to COVID, impact of COVID or pandemic, every industrialist, or you can say the majority of the industrialists are suffering from the issues of finance. So here in this unit, we will discuss from where you can get the fund. No doubt, we do have our own capital, but that will be in limited form. If you want to start your business, you might have 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, 1 crore in your pocket. But what if you want to start your business updated from that? Then definitely you need to have money from others. Others can be banks, others can be family, friends, others can be equity shares, and so on. But yes, you need to have fund from others because your pocket will not fulfill all your requirements. So let's see in that how it works. So entrepreneur tend to prioritize their sources of funds. Entrepreneur has to create healthy terms, congenial terms with their sources. Sources who provides fund, sources who provide money, sources who lend the money to entrepreneur for further progress. So start from the funds that are cheapest and easiest to access. Cheapest means whenever you ask for funds to bank, to other lending institutions, definitely they are going to charge something. That may be a processing charge, that may be a valuation charge, and so many. And the most important is interest rate they are going to charge. So lesser the interest rate, it's good for your company. Lesser you get the fund with less interest rate, the cheapest one is good for your company because it will help you to reduce your fixed burden of interest. For example, if you ask for a loan of 1 crore rupees, one bank, for example, let's say Kotak Mahindra Bank is ready to give you 1 crore rupees loan at the rate of 14% per annum, while HDFC Bank is ready to give you loan of 1 crore rupees at the rate of 12% per annum. With which bank you guys would love to go? Definitely answer will be HDFC because they are providing cheapest funding. Sometimes in relationship also, from your friends, family, colleagues, subordinates, juniors, seniors, from anywhere, from your classmates also. I have seen many, even in certain cases of the IIM, few friends comes together and start their own company with their own capital and they are moving like ahead. They are growing like ahead. The best example for that is Ether electronic scooters. You guys have heard the name, might be Ether. Are you aware about that? Basically, company belongs to South India. Few friends comes together and then they have started their own company. No doubt, later on they got the investments and funding from other institutes as well. But nowadays they are, rocking. So starts from the funds that are cheapest and easiest to access. If you ask to your friends that please give me 5 lakh rupees, it might be possible that your friend will give you 5 lakh rupees without any sort of interest rate because it's on a relationship basis. It will be the easiest way. But depends depends on your relationship. If you only, famous to just get the funds and not famous for the repayment, then no one is going to finance. No one is going to funding. So start from the funds that are cheapest and easiest to access. They move on to the costlier and more difficult sources of finance. First of all, businessmen always try to get the funds at easiest and at lowest rate of interest. And later on, if the more fund is required, if the more amount of money is required in the business for the sustainability, for the some sort of developments, for the expansions and so on, then they will move to the next one, and that next one will be little bit costlier, and the access will be little bit difficult. So we have to plan accordingly that whatever the fund we are getting at a cheapest rate, we have to maintain it like heaven. We have to utilize it like anything. We have to go with the optimum utilization of that fund so that so that we will be not in a requirement of other funds in a very short time. Because if we ask for the other fund in a very short time, then definitely the interest rate will be higher. So why most new ventures need funding? The first one is starting a business. Definitely, we need to have fund to start the business. Without fund, we cannot start. Without finance, we cannot start our business. Even if it is a small scale business, we expect some sort of loans. For example, if you want to start any sort of production unit, we do have 5 to 10 lakh rupees in our pocket. That 5 to 10 lakh rupees we used to have liquidity in our business. We used to keep it separate for purchasing raw materials and all. Then what about the machinery? What about the rent? What about the fixed expenses? What about the infrastructure and the basic necessity that we require? For that, we would like to go for the finance. So starting of the business, start the business, you need to have finance. The second one is expansion of existing business. Once you go through in that business, you are there in that business since last 3 years, since last 5 years. Now you need to have to upgrade your business. Now you need to go for the modernization of your business. Now you think that it's a high time to go for the expansion of my business. So for the expansion purpose, you also need finance. Modernization of the business. You do have laptops, computers, that is, of 90. કોણ પડી જશે? Yes, Nancy. Nancy, કોણ પડી જશે? Is there anything serious? Nancy Sakaria, any urgency? Yes, Nancy, I'm talking to you. Is there any urgency? Any emergency? Who will get fall? Take care, dear. This is not good one. Bad gesture, bad manners. Sorry, it's okay, fine. But it's bad manners. Take care. Yes, now coming back to the track, what Nicholas is saying, I think that the firm go for the costlier sources of funds when it has acquired a good market space, and that there is great need to such funds, loan, say capitalization of the business, adding in of more machines and technology. No doubt, when they don't have any other ways, when the cheapest fund is not available, definitely businessmen have to go with the costlier fund. But when they go with such types of costliest fund, they will also increase the burden, the fixed expenses of the business itself. And that's why it's a first choice of every businessman, of every entrepreneur to go for the cheapest fund. But later on, if they don't have any other ways, definitely they have to go with the costliest one. So why most new ventures need financing? The first one is starting of the business, expansion of existing business, modernization of business, and seek new investment opportunity. Now in this COVID period, in post-COVID period, many organizations, many companies have started producing this masks, sanitizers, PPE kit, and all those things because they find new opportunity in the market. It's a great opportunity, and to grab such opportunity, they require new investment. Definitely, government and few other institutes, banks and lending institutes are ready to finance because opportunity is there. And whenever such great opportunities are there in the market, same time government will also help to give funds. Then diversification of business, when someone wants to diversify, like example, Varmora Industries. Varmora are there in the ceramic industry, but they have also diversified their business into plastic molded kitchenware items. So when firm wants to diversify, they also required funding. They also required finance, and banks, financial institutions are ready to give, but depends on your business plan, depends on your proposal, depends on your business as well as depends on your past performance of loan repayment schedule. If you are like Vijay Malia, then no one is going to give you loan. But yes, if you are like Vijay Malia, then initially you can easily have a loan worth rupees 9,000 crores with certain adjustments. You know very well. So, diversification of business and installation of new plants and machinery and replacement of it. You do have machinery. Let's say ceramic industry. Initially, they started with a very ground level machinery. They used to produce. They used to manufacturing only wall tiles, or you can say the ceiling tiles, and later on they come into the vitrified tiles, single charge, nano charge, double charge, GVT, EGVT, and nowadays they are there in the marble ceramic styles. So definitely for this change, they have to go with new plants and machines. And you cannot purchase new plants and machinery without money. And for that, you have to knock the doors of the bank. You need to knock the doors of the financial institutions because you want to purchase new plants and machinery. You want to replace the old one. Bank will give you loan. Go for it. So why most new ventures need finance? These are the points for the sake. Any doubts for this class? Okay, very good. So moving to the next one, that is types of entrepreneurial finance. Now, students, I want answers from you. From where you can get the fund? You just give one thought in your mind that after completion of your UG, you are going to start the business, any sort of business. Like you do have your business plan. So I think you might be ready about that. So how you are going to get the funds for the same? I want some answers from you, class. Good one. Personal savings, good. For example, this is what I'm going to share is a new scenario where new entrepreneur works with some companies, let's say for 3 years. For 3 years, they work somewhere. They choose to job somewhere. And after spending 3 years of time, they start their own business. Because in that 3 years, they have gained enough experiences. Not only that, at the same time, they have gained many contacts in the market. They have tested the waves of the market, and by the time, they also have some sort of savings from their salary. This is the new trend where youngsters, young generations are doing this. And after spending 2 to 3 years in job, they start their own business. Even in IT sectors, even in many IT sectors, the same system, the same propaganda they are following. So for personal savings, good one. Nicholas, like owner's capital from savings maybe, or maybe by the date or parental or friends. Issue of share to the public. Okay, very good. Undistributed dividends. Okay, this is applicable for the large scale industries. They reinvest their profit. If profit is there, they are supposed to distribute dividend, but they don't distribute dividends and they reinvest that profit into new machinery, into plants, into expansions, and so on. Then Rudradat answered like by own capital, some sort of own capital, and later on by startup loans. Good one. Equity shares. It's a later on stage where your company is well established in the market. For that, uh, Pratik, I would like to suggest not only you but to the entire class. Before you go to the IPO process, you should go with the red herring prospectus. You please refer it once. You will get too many ideas what exactly red herring prospectus means. Even you can go to YouTube channels, Cafe, many channels are available in YouTube where they will explain what exactly red herring prospectus means for launching IPO. It's a good one. You should go. One should go. And loans from banks and other financial institutions. Yes, very good. These all are the correct answers. You can write all these answers in exam. No one will say it's wrong. You will get rewarded for these answers. Class, mark my words and listen carefully. You will get marks for whatever the things you have written in the chat box. It's the right one. It's the right one, and you will be get rewarded for the same. But here we are going to divide it in some formal process, and that formal process, that structure, have two types. The first one is internal, and second one is external. Please be online. Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience, class. Moving forward with the finance, that is internal sources and external sources. We can have loans from our friends, even loans from banks and other financial institutions. Partnering with friends, yes, we can do that. We can have our partner from friend with us in our business. It's a kind of synergy. If you are working alone, you will be having only energy, but your friends, your family, and few others will help you in the same. It will become synergy. So let's see how internal sources affect and how external sources affect your business. So the internal sources of finance is consisting of retained profit. That what Mohammed said, yeah. Nicholas has said that undistributed dividends means retained profits. Company has gained profit of 10 lakh rupees. Now they want to reinvest it. Instead of consumption of that profit, they would love to reinvest it, whatever the profit they have gained. So the internal sources from inner side only, from by your own only, the funds that you are managing, the funds that you are creating will be known as internal sources. So the first one is retained profit. The second one is controlling working capital. In certain cases, if you put control, like in certain companies, if you talk about 2007 and 2009 subprime crisis, then many companies have put strict control on their working capital. And from the savings of that working capital, they earned a lot, or even we can say they have saved a lot on their fixed expenses, on their fixed burden. Their fixed burden has been reduced because they have put strict control on the working capital. Whatever the capital they kept on their hand, they have to pay for that. If you say that, let's take an example of IBM, let's take an example of Ford Motors. The Ford motor was highly famous for their cash on hand. One believes that in automobile industry, one believes that Ford Motor has the highest cash on hand. But same time, it might be possible that they have to pay for that. Or even if they are not paying any sort of interest on that, the money will be blocked. It's of no use if you keep 100 crore rupees on your hand. That 100 crore rupees must be circulated in the market. You can gain something from that. So this you can do by controlling your working capital and sale of assets. In certain cases, if you want to expand and banks and lending institutions are not ready to finance you, at that time you can sell your own assets, whatever assets are there with you, like old machines, like some sort of gold, like some sort of other assets that you can easily convert into liquidity, like you do have some sort of equity shares, your own stakes. As you are promoters, as you are owners, you might have your own portion in that. As you are promoters, you can sell your shares and later on you can give funds to the company. So sale of assets. And then the most important one, owners personal saving. Many of you have said this topic, owners personal savings and reducing stocks. Sometimes a big company, giant companies like DMart, like Walmart, Big Bazaar, and few other company invest majority in their stocks, in their raw material. Stocks in the sense of raw material. But what if you reduce your raw material? If you use just-in-time technology for the same, then it will help to reduce your funds requirement. So sometimes where you are not able to increase the income, you are not able to get the funds from the outside, try to control your expenses, try to reduce your expenses. And this is what we or even one can do by investing less in the stocks. So whatever the excess amounts are there with you, you can invest it somewhere, or even you can use that amount in further activities like marketing and sales, branding and promotions, for the salary payments and all. So these are the internal sources of finance: retained profit, controlling working capitals, sale of assets, owners personal saving, and reducing stock. So any doubt for this class? Any doubts? Okay, good one. Moving to the next, that is external sources. Now, external means from the external environment, from the banks, from the lending institutions, you are getting funds. External sources of finance can be classified on the basis of the time. For how many period you want to have it? You want to have it for short term? Short term includes 1 month, 2 months, 12 months, up to 36 months, but not more than that. Precisely, very much precisely, if we say short term, it means less than 12 months only. Very precisely, very specific. If we say short term means less than or equal to 12 months, not more than that. But in this current era, depends on the situation, depends on the market circumstances and conditions, we can say that short term is equal to less than or equal to 36 months. If we talk about the long term, then it start with 3 plus years, 3 plus years to 15 years, or maybe more than that. In certain cases, if you go for the higher purchase of any machinery, it may be up to 20 years. Like if you talk about the giant company Mitsubishi, they are, they are there in making ships, they are there in the making cruise and big boats. So they used to go for it higher purchase. That maybe for 20 years, maybe for 30 years. It depends. It depends on the party. So for external sources, we do have to, on the basis of time, the first one is short-term finance, the second one is long-term finance. Now let's see one by one. But before that, what are the tools that belong to short-term and long-term? Let's see. The short-term financial deals with raising the money required for a short period that is less than 1 year or equal to 1 year, that we have already discussed. Then these are the instruments for short-term finance, short-term sources. So commercial papers, certificate of deposits, factoring, installment credit, bank credit, and trade credit. Now, I think few words are not known to you. Few words are familiar to you, like installment credit, bank credit, and maybe trade credit. You guys might be aware about such words. But what about commercial paper? In certain cases, if you have gone through with the subjects like fundamental of investments and all, you might be aware about the commercial papers. So the answer that I'm expecting is, what do you mean by commercial paper, certificates of deposits, and factoring? I won't answer for first three, and then we'll discuss one by one. So you may go for Google Baba Jindabad, you can use it. But the thing that I expect, it must be clear in your mind. Definitely, we'll go in detail once we go for the next slide. I will explain you in detail, don't worry. But just for a blink, first startup blinks. I'm expecting answers from you that what do you mean by commercial paper, certificates of deposits, and factoring. So your time starts now. I'm waiting for your answers, class. And this time I'm expecting highest participation. I'm expecting answers from each and everyone.
CP.
Yes. So only one, Vijay has answered. What about others? Commercial paper. Vijay has rightly answered, like you can say the short-term promissory notes that one used to go with. Commercial paper are used by large companies and firms to obtain short-term funds from the public and only backed up by bank and promising to pay back in future at maturity at fixed interest. Yes, exactly right. We can say a short term of finance, very short term, less than a year, a kind of fixed deposit, a kind of debenture. Commercial paper issued by financial institutions ranging from 90 days to 365 days. Or yeah, accordingly. Good, good one. Then what about certificates of deposits? Factoring matters a lot. What is factoring? One by one, certificates of deposit, tell me. Then factoring, tell me. Good one. Okay. Is a saving account that holds a fixed amount of money for a fixed period of time, such as 6 months, year, 5 years. And in exchange, the issuing bank pays the interest when you cash in or redeem. You receive the money you originally invested plus any interest. Good one. Good. Is a product offered by banks and credit unions that provides interest rate in exchange for the customers agreeing to leave a lump sum amount or deposit untouched for a predetermined period of time. Good one. This is where LIC is also funding Life Insurance Corporation. Guys, if you have your LIC policy, then they will also give you some loans. No doubt, it comes under different form, but LIC will also assist you. It will be on the personal basis, not on the business basis. But yes, that funding you can utilize in your business. The term here, certificates of deposit, if you have done any sort of bank deposit, fixed deposit with any sort of banks, then later on the bank will give you loan on that deposit subject to maturity time, maturity date of that deposit. For example, today I have deposited 10 lakh rupees with Union Bank, fixed deposit of 10 lakh rupees with Union Bank for 3 years. After 6 months, I feel that now I want to have money in my business for further expansion or for any reasons. So at that time, I can take loan on that fixed deposit and Union Bank will give me loan maybe up to 9 lakh rupees equal to 90% on my invested amount. And as and when my maturity date come, they will deduct that amount, loan amount, from my original amount and pays me the left, whatever the amount is left. So good one, okay. So commercial papers done, certificates of deposits done, factoring. I will explain all those things in detail in next session. Don't worry. Here we are just going with the brainstorming. Factoring is a financial transactions and a type of debtor finance in which a business sells its accounts receivable. Yes, very good, very good. For example, I'm having my own business. Let's say I'm manufacturing of diesel engines. I'm a manufacturer of diesel engine, and I have sold my 100 diesel engines to Tata Motors. For example, I am supposed to receive 10 lakh rupees from Tata Motors. But according to the payment terms, Tata Motors will give me that 10 lakh rupees after 3 months. But I am in need of that right now. So what I'll do, I'll go to bank, I'll represent the bills and all those things. And at that time, bank will give me approx 90% of the amount that I am supposed to receive by the Tata Motors, because it's a, it's a term called factoring. Good one. An installment credit, you guys might be aware that once give the credit and later on you are supposed to pay it in the installment. Bank credit, bank gives you credit like if you do have current account with any bank, then later on the transaction, depends on the transactions that took place in your current account, bank will give you credit. I think you guys have heard the name of overdraft, cash credit, CC, cash credit, overdraft, and so on. It's part of that only. And trade credits, whenever you are doing some sort of trades, you will get credit for the same. So this is all about the short-term sources for the funding. In next session, we'll go in detail, and in next session also we'll complete the entire sources of funding. Uh, Vijay Raj, what is this? You are adding your name almost 4 to 5 times. Don't worry, you can edit just once. I'm going to consider it. Don't get this much. Yeah. We'll keep up to this only. That's it for the day. Thank you so much, class. Enjoy your day. Please write your name and enrollment number in the chat box. Enjoy your day. Thank you.